positives in the reports, and I recognise that, such as tolls. But we've done that work, and I hope we continue to do it. Might disagree with some of you around the table on that one, but I think that's an area that we need to keep working on. It does refer to non-rateable land. Now, there's no suggestion in those motions that we should pursue that. I would like to pursue the issue of non-rateable Crown land. At the moment, my desktop analysis, $8.7 million we're foregoing from Crown land that could be rated. $8.7 million every year. Universities, and we know there's a lot of businesses at universities, research institutions, etc., $2.8 million. If we go to GST on rates, in Auckland, our people pay us $241 million in GST, tax on tax. $450 per ratepayer, tax on tax. Is that worth investigating? Not mentioned in these reports. I think we should be embarking in some examination of that. And Chair, I look at this and I think, and I've heard talk of selling the family silver to get better silver. I mean, this is not family silver, this is city silver, and it's quite a different thing. And you don't sell your city silver like it's a silver bullet solution. It is just not. There's no upside in selling city silver, the real good hard silver that is always of high value, and you go off and buy a bronze plaque with the councillor's name, I opened this, Councillor X.
Devonport Library.
And that is it, selling city silver for a councillor's very special bronze plaque. So I would not look at these reprised reports.
Councillor Darby, you are straying a wee bit because nobody's talking about selling anything, and some of these issues will come back. So
yes, they do.
Cycle lane.
Every code for it.
I can't hear Councillor Darby because of the two colleagues on my left.
So just to close,
everything goes
Yeah,
through
this is quite good.
just to close, Madam Chair.
This is to enable your cycleways.
Carry on, Chris.
We do need to keep working on, you know, the cost centre of our business, and we need to improve the productivity of some 300 business units that we have within our organisation, and we need to work our assets harder, and we need to incubate innovation like never before within this organisation. Let's keep searching for that, but let's keep searching for alternative means of financing this organisation, but neither of these reports shone a light on that in any great regard at all.
So councillors, can I mean, I've got a speaking list. I just remind you that at the Budget Committee on the 8th of May,
That's right.
it says to undertake a review of the Auckland Council's mix of funding sources to inform the annual plan, with the broad objectives of further reducing the proportion of council revenue funded from rates, maximising the return on council investments, and exploring alternative sources of funding, including from optimisation of assets that are poorly aligned with council.
And did Councillor Darby vote for that?
Madam Chair, what was the vote?
Madam Chair.
Can I just say, there's a lot of noise over here.
Yep.
These are the fourth formers. I think these are the
Third formers.
no, they're the sixth formers.
What are we, Madam Chair? Up the head of the table.
Kindy.
So can we just focus what is in front of us? I don't see the word sale anywhere there, but never mind. Councillor Penrose.
I was going to say, Madam Chair.
Come on.
No. I just thought this was supposed to be just putting everything on the table so we can have a robust discussion back in February. Madam Chair, I'm just wondering though, there's a need for I because I know that the CFO gave us an undertaking that she was going to deal with motor vehicles. And that was one of her...
It already says it, fleet management at the top.
Yep, she was going to make sure that that was an undertaking.
It's in B.
Well, it's in B.
It's in B, fleet management.
Don't really need it. But
C.
Sorry, C.
okay, so mover and I mean, I'm quite happy to take I out or leave it in. Ms Tyndall and myself don't mind. Councillor Clough.
Just, I'm going to be very brief, but just on Councillor Casey's wanting to have an open session. I mean, I have some sympathy for that, but I wasn't particularly happy that it was just going to be a chair's ruling that it's not to be. Wouldn't there be a standing order that would protect us discussing essentially commercial assets? Certainly, you know, I mean, we've got shares on the stock exchange, we've got the value. I would have thought we would have a rationale to actually have it in a workshop, in a closed workshop, based on that alone.
And that's what I said. as
Oh,
part of
that,
the
was that
reason.
the final
reason.
ruling?
Part of the reason. Because, I mean, the thing is,
Okay, I thought it was chair's ruling.
Well, it is a chair.
well,
rule.
I'm just saying commercial
Based on-
sensitivity.
Yeah,
it is
based on that.
commercial sense.
It just may look better. Anyway, I just want to say I do welcome these reports. I personally am going to struggle with any asset realisation and rationalisation, but certainly I have an open mind. I'm assuming, for example, we're not going to put any effort, the staff's not going to put any effort or much effort into investigating the sale of water care, for example, because that would be a waste of basically staff time, I would have thought, knowing around the table here. But I'm happy because I actually think this is our fiduciary duty to actually have this discussion, and I think it's really
Yeah.
important
Oh, that's
Here,
good.
here.
that we all need to be aware of that. You can't just shut it down and not discuss it.
Exactly.
Till Phil.
The key thing is we're not making any decisions today. We may not be making any decisions at a workshop. It just could be an
decisions at workshop.
well, recommendation. So it could be just very much an evolutionary thing, but I just really stress I think it's our fiduciary duty as elected members and elected councillors with we're having a broad, we're supposed to have a broad perspective of Auckland, Greater Auckland, and not our own situation. So I think it's really important we do support these just on that basis alone.
Thank you, councillor Clow. Councillor Wood.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, and I just want to say that there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. So if you know, alternative funding, we've got to find ways of alternatively providing for that funding, because there's certainly, it's certainly not going to happen unless we are actively engaged in this process. I just think that, I think these reports, as Councillor Close said, are probably something we should have done quite some time ago. Got some real objective reports in relation to the council's funding and our balance sheet. And, you know, there's things in the Cameron and Partners, for instance, report in relation to that ceiling between our level of borrowing and the cut-off point, 275% of the income.
Oh, Linda, could you, Cameron, please?
I think it says there,
Sorry, Madam Chair.
it says, it raises the anomaly that we don't have water care or Ports of Auckland included in that, in those figures. So we operate under the local government funding agency, which has statutory powers in relation to how it works. So it's all signed up there. We're signed up to that agency. So I do believe that we are pretty high up in the level of debt that we have as far as that 275 trigger point. So I think that there's some very good work that's been done already by the reporting from these two organisations, and it now behoves the officers to go away and look at it further. I just want to say that in the report points out that Aucklanders in the long-term plan, Aucklanders don't have an appetite for large increases in rates or council debt.
Oh.
That's what's set out in our own long-term plan. So that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of background that we're operating in at the present time. And I think that it really is that we've got to look at all these options, go through it systematically, don't discard things today, because I think that would be at our peril. So I think the people of Auckland expect us to do this work, and it'll be a good way forward. And it's going to be an ongoing process. I thank the Chief Financial Officer and her team for getting this work done, and I think it'll be a good plateau to start the work on. Thank you, Madam Chair.
But councillors, I've had 3 people speak for. Is there, I'm just wondering, I've got some other people want to speak, but is there anyone wants to speak against
Yes,
the
please.
recommendations?
Can I take a point of order for clarification, Chair?
Yep.
There were a few interjections when I was speaking about there's no suggestion of selling, and you said sale is not mentioned. Can I just draw your attention to D? Does it not say explore undertaking a partial or full sell down. There is suggestion of sale.
Sorry.
It's in the
Well,
reports.
it's in the report.
Yeah, it is, yeah, get rid of it.
Sorry. No,
Oh,
no,
rubbish.
we're not. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, good
Jeez, the
point of
boogie
order. Thank
word.
you.
Get that one. Jeez, get that out of the manifesto.
There might be selling all of them, I think.
Yeah, I've got 'em.
We should get rid of the lot.
She's on a broomstick.
Fix all the tests, yeah.
Okay, right, thank you. So, I've got Linda, Penny, Dick and Wayne, so, and Mike, so
That's a good out.
do we have a full debate or do I say I've had 3, 4? Is there anyone against it? then?
Your decision, Madam Chair.
Have another meeting at
I
3
think
o'clock.
so.
Madam.
I know that, thank you. So Wayne, you want to speak against the recommendations?
Sure, I just want to follow on from Councillor Darby's comments about this being cherry picking. I'm not very happy with these reports. They don't really deliver on a number of the expectations that that I had, and I would hope that the Chief Financial Officer is able to go broader, hear the conversation that's been around the table, and if this goes through, not be limited to what's up there, because I think it's rather narrow. A real concern I've got is around timing, and I don't think the issue of timing has been addressed in terms of consideration of selling anything. Auckland is on a roll because of this council, because of integration. Our transport, our infrastructure, our investments, our tourism, many things are coming together. And the value of any assets that we've got, especially ports, especially airports, is going to go up. The value of any real estate we've got is going to go up. And I'd suggest it's going to go up significantly more in the future than what it has done over many years in the past. So I've got real concerns about placing what we're doing in some longer term context in terms of our investment opportunities, in terms of our strategic opportunities. We need to put an Auckland plan overlay over this, which is not just about money. It's about our social concerns, our community concerns, our environmental concerns, all the things that we're around the table here for that amount to the success of Auckland. And I just don't think that we've got adequate context around that, and I made that point earlier. So while I am keen on a conversation, and my view is that that conversation should also involve local boards, I'm very concerned that we narrow ourselves if that is the process that is occurring here. So I'm happy with the earlier recommendations, but not those that follow on.
You, Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I, having began local government service in 1992, have been through this argument before, so there's nothing really new here. When I first was elected to the Auckland Regional Council, there was right in the middle of a debate about selling Ports of Auckland, and at the time our financial advisors, Faye Richwhite, Bancorp, were advocating the sale. In fact, put out a beautiful glossy booklet called A Time to Sell, and the price they were looking at was 200 million, which was round about the regional debt, strangely enough, and that was attractive to a lot of the members. In the end, the attempt to sell due to the public outcry failed by one vote. But since that time, $2 billion, just under $2 billion worth of income has flowed into the region and into investments, especially in transport, and the enormous enhancement of infrastructure investment that occurred from the mid-90s on, starting with the upgrade of the Manukau wastewater treatment plant and all those other, especially rail, was due to that funding stream, that investment stream, that steady funding stream. And the diversified fund I referred to earlier has a component of that dividend stream. Madam Chair, so I would agree with the speakers who say there's nothing much new in these reports, and there is an irony. It's a small irony compared to a larger irony I will refer to later, but you know, the why we need extra funding is because of our costs, and yet we have almost a schizophrenic approach to income and expenditure, revenue and costs, in that $500,000 can go onto these reports without blinking an eye. That I find quite ironic. We do have problems in terms of our costs, and yet we've had all sorts of reports. We have the consensus, whatever it was, group to look for alternative transport funding from McGreedy-Winder, and they've had these two reports all look at ways of finding extra revenue or funding, but we've never had that approach to looking at our cost, having people come in and analyse our cost structure and see if we can do better.